Ever wonder why your TV is flooded with ads asking you to ask your doctor about some drug? That's because the US and New Zealand are the only countries in the world where direct-to-consumer advertising of prescription drugs is legal. In the United Kingdom, the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency strictly prohibits these ads. In Canada, the Food and Drugs Act bans most direct-to-consumer advertising of prescription medications. Even in the European Union, the European Parliament has repeatedly rejected proposals to allow even limited forms of prescription drug advertising. The Second Amendment. While gun laws vary by state, the US generally has more relaxed regulations compared to many other nations. In Japan, getting a gun is harder than understanding why anyone would voluntarily eat natto. You need to attend an all-day class, pass written and shooting tests, undergo mental health and drug screenings, and pass a background check that would make the FBI blush. Even then, handguns are banned for civilian use. In Australia, following the Port Arthur massacre in 1996, the country implemented a comprehensive gun control program, including a ban on certain semi-automatic and self-loading rifles and shotguns. In America, you can burn a flag, criticize the government, and even make terrible puns without fear of legal repercussions. Try that in some other countries and you might find yourself in a rather uncomfortable conversation with the authorities. In Germany, displaying Nazi symbols or denying the Holocaust can land you in legal hot water. In 2017, a 70-year-old woman was convicted for sharing and liking a post on Facebook that featured a picture of Hitler with the caption, "Adolf, please get up, Germany needs you." In Thailand, criticizing the royal family known as lèse majesté is a one-way ticket to "you're gonna have a bad time town." In 2021, a former civil servant was sentenced to 43 years in prison for sharing audio clips deemed critical of the monarchy on Facebook and YouTube. In many US states, you can buy and drink raw, unpasteurized milk. It's like playing bacterial roulette with your digestive system. In Canada, the sale of raw milk directly to consumers has been prohibited under the Food and Drug Regulations since 1991. In 2010, Ontario dairy farmer Michael Schmidt was convicted of selling raw milk and raw milk products. In Ireland, while raw milk production is legal, its sale has been discouraged by food safety experts. The Food Safety Authority of Ireland has repeatedly called for a ban on raw milk sales due to health risks. In some US states, you can own exotic pets like tigers, monkeys, or even alligators, because nothing says I make good life choices like having a predator that could eat you as a house pet. In the UK, the Dangerous Wild Animals Act, 1976 requires a license to keep certain exotic animals as pets. In 2020, a London resident was fined £1,000 for keeping an African serval cat without a license. In Australia, it's illegal to keep exotic animals as pets without proper permits. In 2019, authorities in New South Wales seized a young tiger from a suburban backyard in Sydney. The death penalty is still legal in about 27 US states, making America one of the few developed nations that still practices capital punishment. It's like we took time out to a whole new level. All European Union countries have abolished the death penalty, considering it a human rights violation. Canada abolished the death penalty for all civilian crimes in 1976, and for military offenses in 1998. In 2018, Malaysia announced a moratorium on executions, and in 2022, moved to abolish the mandatory death penalty for certain offenses. In most of the US, you can turn right at a red light after stopping. It's like a little traffic hack that makes you feel like you're beating the system. But try this in most European countries and you might as well be wearing a sign that says, "Please ticket me." In Germany, red means stop, full stop, no exceptions. They're so strict they probably yell at their microwaves for beeping. In the UK, turning left, their equivalent of our right turn, on red is strictly prohibited unless there's a specific green filter arrow signal. While controversial, child beauty pageants are legal across the US, because nothing says healthy childhood like fake tans and adult-sized insecurities. France banned child beauty pageants in 2013, citing concerns about the hypersexualization of young children. The ban prohibits pageants for children under 16 and carries potential prison sentences of up to 2 years for violators. In America, you have the right to vote, but also the right to stay home and complain about the results later. It's called freedom of choice, baby. But in Australia, voting is compulsory. Skip the polls, and you might face fines of up to 180 Australian dollars, about 120 US dollars. In the 2022 federal election, Over 17 million Australians cast their ballots, representing a turnout of 89.8%. In Belgium, another country with compulsory voting, non-voters can face fines and even difficulty getting a public sector job if they repeatedly fail to vote. In the US, spanking your kids is still legal in all 50 states. Some parents swear by it, while others wouldn't dream of it. But hey, at least you have the choice. Sweden became the first country to explicitly ban spanking in 1979. Since then, 62 other countries have followed suit. In 2022, Wales became the latest country to ban the practice, joining Scotland, which outlawed it in 2020. In New Zealand, the anti-spanking law passed in 2007 has been controversial, with attempts to repeal it through referendums in 2009 and 2020, both of which failed. While still illegal under federal law, many U.S. states have embraced legal marijuana. It's like the government suddenly became the cool parent saying, "We'd rather you do it in the house than go somewhere else." But try taking that wacky tobacco abroad, and you might find yourself in hot water. In Singapore, Omar Yaakob Bamadaj was sentenced to death in 2021 for bringing at least 2 pounds of cannabis into the country in 2018. In the United Arab Emirates, 24-year-old British soccer coach Billy Hood was arrested in 2021 with 4 bottles of CBD vape oil in his car. He was initially sentenced to 25 years in prison, later reduced to 10 years on appeal. Let's end with a hairstyle that screams America louder than a bald eagle at a monster truck rally, the mullet. While you're free to rock this iconic do in the US, some countries aren't fans of your freedom to look ridiculous. In 2010, Iran's Ministry of Culture said no way to mullets, banning the hairstyle for being un-Islamic. They even raided barbershops offering these decadent Western cuts. In 2021, North Korea declared war on mullets, spiky hair, and skinny jeans. The rogue communist country outlawed these styles, enlisting the state-run Socialist Patriotic Youth League to act as literal fashion police against the banned cuts. As we conclude this video with a call to embracing diversity everywhere in the world, we want to leave you with the following quote by Ronald Reagan. "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. All countries are unique, and the differences in how we approach freedom is what makes the world a beautiful place. America is a great nation. And so is every other country, as always." This has been Fascinating Tales.